Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to 1000 Lies. I have mac and cheese with me. I'm sorry, I have to eat. It's a little bit hot right now though, so I'm gonna let it cool just a bit. But anyways, I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen. Yeah, I thought you'd never come, Sheer. She puts one of her hands on her waist as she tilts her head and smiles. I'm late because I had something to take care of. She's happy. She looks at me without believing or taking anything I say seriously, but that makes her happier. You ask a girl to meet you in an empty classroom on graduation day and you get there late. Sure. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna take a screenshot because that's what we do around here. Yas. Did I just say yas? What the hell's wrong with me? Everything, actually. Never mind. I don't even need to ask that. Why do I always feel the need to ask that? I'm in denial. Lucy's acting sly. She immediately turns her eyes to the window again. Over time, I've come to learn that she does that when she's nervous. Right now, she isn't calm, although she's happy in a way. I'm impressed at how easily I've come to understand her personality after such a short amount of time. Even so, maybe it's because of her intensity that I've paid special attention to her. Another reason to finish what I came here to do. Luce, Wait a second, Sheer. She interrupts me before I can finish my sentence. She hesitates, swallowing and pressing her lips with her fingers. I have to tell you something first, about something I discovered. I know why you write. I frowned in suspicion. For a moment, I don't know what she means. You told me that you have your own reason to write, to carry that notebook with you. I know the reason. I don't know how to react. My mind is blank, yet too overloaded to figure out how to react. All I managed to do is give her a look, asking her to continue. I understood it when I read it. The story from that contest, the one you never wanted to talk about. The story of the three friends entering a haunted mansion, and one of them runs off until he's alone. Ah, so that's what it was! That's the story that was... that makes sense. That was like the prologue, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah, it was, right? It isn't a story that you made up. It's actually your own story, one of your past, your life. The chain curse and how you ended up being separated from your friends, being unable to meet them again. Those are just metaphors, obviously. The mansion incident actually took place in the library. What happened there tore you away from this world. It changed you forever, left you alone. It's a sad ending. You didn't accept it, and that's why you don't like remembering that story. Because you don't want to reopen old wounds. And now, with reaching the sun, it's the same, isn't it? The wolf is looking for happiness the way he proves himself. Your notebook is no more than a diary, one where you write about your life in an exceptionally odd way. It's not that you're bad at writing endings, it's that the world decides them for you. Each ending is a new beginning for your next story. The room cools down. A soft breeze blows in from the window as I lower my head. I breathe. Shortly after, I reply. As I was saying, Luce, I came here to give you something. Luce is petrified. Is it the dick? Oh! Is it the dick? I'm not ready! Look at her, though. She's like, what? Oh shit, I touched the wrong thing. I'm so used to my screenshot app being like in this the hidden icons little tab, you know, and like for some reason it just isn't there anymore, so I like clicked the wrong, it's like pinned on my, you know, taskbar right now, and it's just like I'm not used to it being there. I had to do that manually, by the way, because truth be told, I tried recording this earlier. I didn't get this far, obviously. I only got as far as, like, Luce turning her head away. Like, and I stopped, like, right there because I was trying to find my screenshot app to take a screenshot of it, but it wasn't there. And like I tried finding it, and then I thought maybe if I restart my computer, it would be back there, but it wasn't. So then I had to manually find it through my computer, and then copy it to, like, pin it to my taskbar, and now it's there. And I'm just like, oh, right, you're there, not over where I'm used to you being at. Anyways, what are you saying, Sheer? It's the last chapter of my fairy tale. With this, our deal is finished. We no longer have any reason to meet up at the library. She, surprised, is only able to mutter the same question over and over again. Didn't you hear me, Sheer? I wanted to give you this before graduation is over. That's why I went home earlier and... Don't ignore me! This is important! My hands paused the moment I opened the folder that I'd brought along. A few seconds later, I take out the papers that contain the final chapter and hand them to Luce. I heard you, but you're wrong. It's not a diary. I won't deny that my own experiences are reflected in my writing, much like any other writer, but you're wrong. Luce can't even close her mouth. Yeah, obviously. She's unable to accept what her ears are hearing. It can't be. It definitely fits. The accident, what happened to you, everything. Now that I've read the other story, I was sure that... I have a good idea of who showed you that old story, but the history behind it is something that only I know. Something I keep to myself. We made a bet over this, didn't we? You know that I never lie when it comes to bets and promises. I'm telling you the truth. She takes a step backwards, shaking her head in disbelief. Also, you say that each ending is a new beginning? If you believe that every ending sparks a new beginning, you're wrong. Life is made up of possibilities. For each decision you make, you open one door but close 10 others. The consequences of our actions are always predetermined. There's no turning back. You can't travel backwards in time. Each beginning is actually the ending of another story that will never see the light of day. This one here is simply another closed door. Do you understand me, Luce? We look at each other with resolve. This may be the first time that we can see the truth reflected in each other's eyes, when we don't need to say anything more to understand each other's feelings. She snatches the papers from my hands with disdain. Unlike in the past, this time she doesn't even take a peek at it. What's wrong, Cher? Where's that attitude coming from? I've always been direct and concise. I don't know what you mean. Luce crosses her arms. No, not like this. There are no more words. It's not like anything we could say would change anything. Once I finish what I came here to do, I turn back to the exit. She remains there, looking out the window. Even though I turn to look at her one last time, I'm unable to read the expression on her face. Wow. The doors of the schools close behind me. Night comes and the sun is lost in its nadir. I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna eat mac and cheese because I'm hungry and I don't want to get it getting too cold now. Give me a minute. Oh, it's still warm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect temperature for mac and cheese. I'm sorry you have to hear me eating, but I'm hungry. I can't remember if it was this episode or last episode of this game or not, but didn't I eat mac and cheese in the video last week too? Or sometime? I have like no concept of time. Honestly, everything just blends together. I'm sorry. This must be really boring for you. Okay. Just a few more. I don't know if you guys can hear me eating, but I'm sorry if you do. It must sound really gross. Okay, just give me. It's like I keep telling myself to stop. But it's like, it's so good. Okay. Jeez. Cheese. The few remaining students leave. They've rented out a club, so the night will be long. I, of course, won't be going with them. I never intended to go anyways, and where I belong is somewhere else. A place that's always been waiting for me. The park where I can always calm down, and I assume that we're gonna meet Claire there. In the center, a quiet pond languishes as it's washed by the beautiful silhouette of a small woman. I called it! Oh my god, look at her. And of course they're playing her song. Wonderful. Or the song that's named after... No, not this... Fuck. I meant the song that she's named after, not the song that's named after her. God. That doesn't make sense. And while I would have loved to use Luce's, thing for the thumbnail, I think I might do Claire, because I don't know, Claire's just so weird. I don't know. And also this is, I don't know what it is about nighttime scenes, but I just love it. I love it. Although I do have to say, the color choices for her outfit just is weird. You know, like, because her eyes are like pinkish purple. Her hair's like bluish, whitish color. And then you get, Oregon duck colors. And I say that because I'm from Oregon, so yeah. How appropriate it is that when she turns around, her face is illuminated by the moonlight. She's not wearing her hat. She doesn't need it under this bright night sky. There's no reason to hide. Her hair shimmers with a silver glow. Her porcelain skin sparkles amidst the darkness. This scene feels comparable to finding a fairy at a lake, one that could fulfill any wish and make any dream come true. Claire, I know you're hiding your wings! But all I need is the smile and that she always dedicates to me and only me. You came here? I have to fulfill my promises, and I couldn't make you wait any longer. Not after so long. Her fingers play with the edges of her skirt while she softly nods to me. You've always been here, remembering everything, knowing it all. I only need to speak the truth. That's what you've insisted on so often. After doing it, I can see clearly. I have the answer in front of me. That's why I'm thankful to you, Claire. The palms of her hands clasp together as if she's praying or begging for a wish. What? Did her eyes change? I'm gonna take a screenshot just in case, because I didn't see anything change, but just in case, I'm gonna do it, because, like, why not? And if it turns out it's just the same as the first image, and I thought I saw something change, but it didn't, well, now I have two. I'll have two.
Are you sure? Can you be sincere? Will you be able to remember me?
Oh god, this voice isn't right.
Are you sure, Cher? Can you be sincere? Will you be able to remember me?
I get closer to her until there's almost no space between us. My feet dip onto the wet ground and my hands shake nervously, but she calms me down by holding my hands with her own. No, she'll just hold my hands with her feet. Yes. I won't be able to forget you if you're by my side. What? What the hell? Excuse me, what? That's why. Without letting her hands go, I dropped to one knee. Okay, what the fuck is going on here? This is escalating. It's crazy, but it's the conclusion I came to. No more doubts, no more trembling voice, no more questioning any of my actions. After all, to her, the most important thing is for me to be truthful. I am concerned. Claire. I thought the music was gonna cut out there. Oh my god. What the fuck? Where did this come from? Holy shit, what the hell? Will you marry me? Look at her! Oh, I think she did change. Okay, let me take... I'm gonna just take 1 second. Just 1 second. And I'm gonna look at... Just make sure... Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just look at the previous screenshots just to make sure that... Okay. Okay, so it did change, but it wasn't her eyes, it was her mouth and her eyebrows. And now she's doing the same smile again. Okay. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, did it crash? Oh no. No. No, 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 no. No. Don't! Oh my god, my game crashed. What the hell? I didn't... Oh, fuck's sake. God damn it. Oh my god, I hate that so much. Why? What the hell? Why? What did I... Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. It's fine. I'll just skip to that. Okay, it's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be fine. We're all gonna be fine. This is all gonna be fine. We're just gonna have to... settings. Fuck. Okay. Back. Okay, we're gonna skip. What? Why won't it let me skip? Oh shit, because it Oh! It... Because it doesn't remember. Oh, fuck. Oh my god, this is... I'm so sorry. Oh my god, this is stupid. Why? Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Now we're here. Now we're getting here. Sorry about that. Holy shit. I was not expecting it to fucking crash like that. I am sorry. Claire, will you marry me? Under the moonlight, my feelings take the most appropriate form, that of a fairy tale. The book closes at the foot of the pond, creating a perfect world. Our own fantasy world, giving us the best possible ending to the story. What? What? Excuse me, what? Reaching the sun. Epilogue. Okay. The sun or the moon. He managed to escape from the other animals. He managed to bear the coldest blizzard and find a safe place to spend the night. He managed to put up with a lack of air, fatigue, and disillusion. Close to the summit, he slipped on rocks and the wound on his leg became worse. So much as leaning on it caused him intense pain, but that couldn't stop him either. The ground seemed to disappear in front of his eyes. Is that the summit? His motivation to reach his goal kept him going. More than climbing, it's like he was dragging his body along pathetically, but also pridefully for having overcome his limits. Only a few feet remained. Those feet would become inches, and those inches millimeters, until there was nothing left to climb. Exhausted, the wolf let his body lie on the top of the huge mountain. He was now able to lick the snow with his tongue, giving him a taste of victory at that moment. The storm died down, and the first rays of light slipped through the clouds. In front of him was the most beautiful landscape he would ever see. With his own eyes, he saw everywhere he'd passed. It was almost as if he could draw the route he'd taken to get here. He was full of satisfaction for having gone further than any other normal wolf, even despite his condition. But he didn't reach the sun. It was the same as always, high up, far away, distant. The summit of the mountain was cold and disrespectful, arrogant and haughty, fake. The wolf knew that it wasn't his place. He couldn't reach the sun. He never had a chance to reach it in the first place. His soul left his body at that instant. His eyelids fell closed, taking his entire body and consciousness along with him. The snow couldn't hold his weight and started to drag him down the mountain. At first it was with finesse and decorum, then with haste and exuberance. Finally, it was with fury and violence. The wolf went down without any resistance. His soul should have died a long time ago. What happened to his body now didn't concern him. Surrounded by the pure white snow, everything went black. Darkness engulfed him even after he woke up. His eyes opened, but there was nothing nor anyone left to see. He was trapped in the darkness, but he didn't mind it that much. He started walking, following his instincts as well as his legs would allow. Eventually, a small reflection caught his attention. He followed that reflection, assuming that he was already dead. Little by little, it grew. After a minute of walking, he realized that the reflection was slipping through the trees around him, and at the same time it became stronger where the woods seemed to end. The shine was both familiar and beautiful. As he got closer to it, he stopped following it by intuition and followed it by necessity. As soon as he exited the woods, he had to close his eyes due to the brightness. When he managed to open them again, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was the moon. The moon was waiting for him, not from the skies like usual, but from the ground around him. It was close to him, next to him. The moon that had helped him in the past had rescued his soul. She never asked for anything in return. He had never looked for or wanted her, yet she would never hurt him, and now they were face to face. Having someone who cares about you, who loves you unconditionally, no questions or doubts, they're simply there for you. Isn't that true happiness? The wolf laid down next to the moon, tired from his long journey and satisfied with what he'd achieved. At last, he could rest in peace. He took one last breath, barely able to raise his head, and a whisper escaped from his mouth, one of profound gratitude. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun, and found the moon in its place. Oh! Oh! Is this just it? Oh! Oh, is this just it? Oh my god, I just realized something. I feel so stupid, but Ziva, was she the sun the entire time? I mean the metaphorical sense, yes. Was she? I'm kind of guessing it was her because, you know, red hair, like fiery like the sun, fiery attitude like the sun, Claire, bluish hair, bluish silvery hair to be exact. I don't know how to describe it. It looks kind of blue, looks kind of silvery, whatever. We won't get into specifics. She's calm, understanding, knowing, and everything. I get it now. I get it. My eyes have seen the light, and it blinded me. Again, I don't know if I'm right, but that's what I think. Let me know what you think. What are you still doing here? The song's over. There's nothing left to hear. What did you say? You aren't convinced by that ending? Well, that's to be expected. It's hard to differentiate the truth from the many lies. Is this the epilogue that the Dev was talking about, or is it something else? Is it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to classify this as. Maybe, I don't know. However, there are lessons to learn if you analyze the story properly. The first, for instance, is that endings don't exist. And the rest, well, it's better if you find them yourself. After all, behind 1,000 lies, there's always one hidden truth. Oh, okay, so the one hidden truth is, I think that is the epilogue. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. But you know what? Oh! Okay, so this is epilogue, and you know what? I don't want to do a separate video. I want to finish this off properly, fair and square right now, because this game is great. I love it, and I don't want to wait another week just to figure out everything. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do this. We're doing this. But before, I'm going to eat mac and cheese. Oh my god, it's still warm. I mean, it's not as warm as before, but it's still warm. God damn. I'm just gonna finish it up because there's not much left in here. If you don't mind. I'm sorry. I feel like I sound gross when I'm eating this. Normally, I don't sound gross. But I do. I think it's just because it's mac and cheese, and it's like really cheesy. Like you know, cheese saucy, kind of cheesy. Just straight up plain old melted cheese. Talk about the sauce kind of shit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, okay. Okay, we're good. We're done. We're good. We're good. Okay. Okay. The man slides his finger across the piano's fall board, nostalgic of the days when he would come here every day to practice. Those memories became the thin dust sitting inside the instrument. He knows that it'll fall down again once he leaves. The instrument isn't even tuned. Even if he could tune it, music only takes form at the moment that it's played. It's impossible to repeat the same melody as before. But he's not sad. He won't weep for it. On the contrary, he's happy to be able to relive those memories. Those moments. Even if he's no longer here. You came here for answers, didn't you? Yes. Well, to be precise, we came here to give you answers. Let's go somewhere more comfortable first. To the library. To the library! Nowhere else could be more appropriate than the place that started it all. Wonderful. It's a bit contradictory, but isn't this what every kid dreams of? Starring in their own adventure? The truth is that there's a trick to it. Being the protagonist and being a suitable protagonist are two different things. Humans are selfish. The pursuit of happiness has always been limited by us seeking out ways to improve ourselves. Of course, it's hard to figure out which is better and which is worse in this case. For starters, we depend on the things around us to define our identities. It's easier to see ourselves reflected in a mirror than to look into and try to understand our inner selves. If you believe that it's possible to look into oneself without referencing the world around you, I think you're wrong because that's simply impossible. That's why we lie. Why he lies. It's the best way to bring out the reflection of our profile and ignore all of the flaws we have in the process. Whether or not it's considered a lie depends on what we believe and know, not our level of ignorance. Someone who lies without any knowledge, of the subject they're lying about isn't a liar. They're ignorant. Do you understand now what I mean when I talk about the biggest liar of them all? Exactly. The biggest liar is the one who doesn't believe anything. Everything in this life stems from decisions which then become actions, and finally they force consequences on you that will bring forth new decisions. Why the fuck am I dying? I don't know. But in the end, no one can define the value of those consequences. No one knows what the best course of action is. If we look at it that way, the circle of life takes on a new meaning. And no, I will not sing it because I will get copyrighted. By Disney. And like 70 other companies. Like, I swear to God, last time I sang... I'm pretty sure I complained about this when it happened. Like, after it happened the next week. So I sang a set part of Let It Go in my XOXO Dropless video. And it got claimed by like 70 fucking companies. I'm not joking. There were 70 companies that claimed that video. I mean, yes, it's still up on my channel. You can still watch it, but it's monetized by 70 plus companies. All by Disney, I think. I think they're all like companies owned by Disney, I guess. I'm not sure. Like, I guess international. I'm not sure, but like it fucking pissed me off. But anyways, yeah, that's why I'm not gonna be singing any copyrightable, any songs really. I'll just sing my own. We first think, then lie, and finally we create deceit to encourage ourselves to continue with our unequivocally mistaken thoughts. I'm sorry. There's some big words in this game. We don't have any control over our lives or decisions. All we have is the ability to deceive ourselves. Deceive ourselves! God! Good thing I catch that. I would have believed something else. To deceive ourselves, to adapt to a newly perceived reality that suits our taste best. We create a hyper-reality. But curiously, if we continue to act while knowing that we're being deceived, the biggest liar, paradoxically, becomes the most sincere person out of everyone. What causes someone to lie if there's no purpose behind it? Why does that person carry on despite the risks and their fear of their own existence? That's the biggest truth in the world. The unique and most authentic thing we can know about someone, or even ourselves, is hidden behind 1,000 lies. Hey, that's the title! They said it! And that's hope. The moment someone like that lies, they consciously know that their actions lack any sense or purpose, much like their own identity. In that very instant, we're assured that the big liar has that big liar has some sort of hope within them. Because maybe, just maybe, the consequences of our actions might not lead to deceit. Maybe, even if it's just by chance, even if it's just an approximation in the correctest direction. Or that's what he believes. Do you now understand how someone can end up being afraid of becoming the main character of their adventure? No, of course not. That's a tough pill to swallow. It's easier to understand if you see it with your own eyes. With that being said, a group of 3 takes a seat by a large window, unsure of where to start. There's no better place to start than the beginning, from the past, from their memories. Ah! It's a wild Ziva!
Oh fuck. It's a bit embarrassing, but yeah, it was here. I used to sit right here, motionless, with my eyes fixated on the books and from time to time on the counter. It's normal. I was curious and no one else was here. It was the kind of silence that made hours seem like they dragged on forever. Considering how I was so shy and silent and timid, well...
Ziva scratches her cheek with a finger. The charismatic girl stands at a crossroad when it comes to her past. She's getting caught up in her past self again. The novice pianist standing next to her, maybe still too similar to his older self, decides to take the reins since he's the most calm and composed in the room. You probably already know this, but this complex was part of a bigger plan. An urban expansion that was put on hold for budget issues, and this cultural center went without ever being used. Since most of the materials were purchased ahead of schedule, volunteers took the opportunity to use this place for a while. It became a place that was especially useful for taking art and music lessons. I was one of the kids that came here to take classes. While waiting for my parents to get off work and pick me up, I would waste my time in this library. The 3 of us would always meet up here.
Even though we went to the same school, we weren't the type of people that had many friends, and we didn't know each other very well because we were from different classes. My parents, like Sharon's, were volunteers here. Since I was their only child, they would take me along with them. In his case, since he was older than us and their workforce was lacking, he was given the position of librarian. There wasn't much for him to do since there never were any visitors. He'd spend more time complaining and huffing than anything else. In that sense, I guess nothing has changed. It got to the point that I was the only close friend he had, so he would vent all of his complaints to me even if I never said a word to him. Little by little, he started dragging me around with him. Our discussions changed to the planes and games. Time flew by so quickly each day. For some reason, he'd always come up with fake stories about the center and himself. At first, I didn't really know what he was trying to accomplish, but now it's clear to me that it was simply a device he used to kill his boredom.
Every time I came here, he was doing something. I was under the impression that librarians were supposed to keep the rooms silent, but in this case it was the total opposite. It wasn't long after that until I joined the group. It was unexpected considering my attitude at the time. I wasn't the kind of extroverted person who was able to forge friendships easily. I, who had always been a polite and reliable kid, started to think that I was becoming a delinquent because we'd sometimes run away from the building, seeking out whatever adventure Sheer would come up with at that moment. We got in trouble sometimes, and I'd complain about it every time, but it was fun. Really fun. The 3 of us became inseparable. Sharon was basically our leader, even though I wouldn't admit it back then because I was too stubborn and prideful.
There was never a dull moment. In that sense, lately I think Cher really is becoming more like his former self. Right now, he'll only get in trouble if there's a bet involved. It's like he needs a justification so that no matter what happens, no one can condemn his actions. But I think that's changing too, or at least that's what I thought. I guess it isn't easy to leave the past behind.
We've been talking about that long enough. I know you want to hear about the accident. But despite whatever you think, it's actually pretty simple. At the same time, though, it's incomprehensible if you don't hear it in the correct context. You read what he wrote in his notebook at that time, right? The story of the three friends? By looking around you and knowing him, it's easy to assume that it was intended as a diary, a record of what had happened from his perspective. Although it wouldn't be too far-fetched to believe that, there's one detail you have to keep in mind to see the full picture.
You're probably right with whatever assumptions you made about it. The more childish and cheesy, the better. After all, we were just kids, and he still acts like one sometimes. All that about making a decision, about how the chains would allow more leeway if two people got closer and allow the third person to go farther. It was in his interpretation of a childhood love triangle.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
This is a bit, well, I'd rather not get into too much detail, but one day Sharon came to me and confessed, and I accepted, I guess. The truth is, we didn't really know what to do about it. We were inexperienced and really naive, even for our ages. It's not like I was the most proactive person in the world either. Our concept of a date was going to the arcade. Most of the time, we'd play whichever games we wanted separately. It's so embarrassing that I die every time I think about it.
Playing arcade games separately, god damn it! They couldn't really be considered dates either, since I was there as well.
Like I said, we were really naive. We never did anything beyond that. It was more like an experiment between the two of us.
And that's exactly what Sheer was afraid of. In his own words, he thought he was incompetent. Ziva was timid, quiet, and inexpressive. He felt that he wasn't making enough of an effort to make her smile. On the other hand, we were kind of young to be worrying about that kind of thing. As our leader, he was losing the courage and imagination that had been dazzling us. And now it was the last straw. I made him know that I felt detached from the group from the moment they decided to date each other.
No, you're wrong. It was my fault. I always left everything to him. I never helped him. I always acted like I had a problem with everything we do. It was like I couldn't enjoy anything. I had this problem with expressing my emotions. It was difficult to get close to people and to say how I really felt.
In any case, the breakdown happened on the day of the accident, in this very building after discussion he and I had in the music room. He felt guilty and I didn't tell him he was wrong. Deep down, I was blinded by jealousy. I wanted to make him see something that I didn't even understand. I upset him so much that he ran in a direction he shouldn't have. I followed him to an unfinished area. We ignored the signs, even though he didn't want to confront me. I was determined otherwise. Then something went wrong. I honestly can't remember if the floor fell in or if someone stepped somewhere they shouldn't have. The noise it made could be heard from within the entire complex. It wasn't until some time later that we could hear the siren of the ambulance. Up until now, as I mentioned, it isn't that different from what you'd assumed. The lie is always where one least expects it. The cost of the accident and the bad taste it left in everyone's mouth caused all activity in the building to stop indefinitely. From his point of view, Sharon thought that he'd ruined everything, that he'd literally destroyed what kept us together. He killed the futures of many people he didn't even know, people who had hopes for that building. The worst part for him was that he didn't even have to face the consequences of his actions. Sharon went unscathed by the accident. He had nothing but a few scratches that only caused him to stay a single night in the hospital. From then on, everyone treated him like a victim of that incident rather than the cause of it. The next morning at the hospital, Sharon wondered why he was the only one who hadn't lost anything, despite being the one who'd always complained about that place in his librarian position. His head became filled with those kinds of thoughts, and eventually something in his mind completely snapped. He took a kitchen knife during breakfast and stabbed his right leg with all of his strength. Woo! Ew! Why the leg, though? Why the leg, though? But okay, whatever. Ugh! Jesus Christ, well, hello there. Blood splatter, it's nice to see you. He started near his ankle, and even though doing something like that wouldn't make anyone else scream, he kept slicing at his leg in silence, slowly cutting upwards while his blood continued to pour out. Oh god, that's gross. Thanks for the gross sound design. Holy shit, ew. Soon the sheets and the floor were covered in blood, but he still kept carefully cutting. He had already reached his knee by the time that his mother came to check on him for that day. She ran to his son and asked what he was doing, what was happening, and he, totally composed with the knife still in his hand, tilted his head in confusion and gave her a natural response. Oh my god. Sharon? Oh my god! What do you mean, Mom? I got this wound from the accident. That's why I'm hospitalized. Right? Oh my god, he's crazy. I like how that's where it shows. I'm just like, oh my god, he's crazy. ... A long silence fills the room, as if they had been expecting the story to have a completely different ending. But it doesn't. As if the responsibility is on his shoulders, because he told the story, Dennis tries to keep the conversation alive. After that, as you probably guessed, Shear's leg healed. However, his heart and mind, not so much. Anything to do with us or any situation where he has to deal with the expectations of other people causes extreme pain to surge through the wound on his right leg. It took an entire year for him to return to his normal life, but the consequences of that accident still remain. From that moment forward, we didn't get the chance to speak with him again. He transferred schools to avoid seeing us, and even though Ziva's tried really hard to heal him in every possible way, she was ultimately unsuccessful. At least until this past year, he seemed to be steadily improving, so Ziva transferred schools in a last-ditch effort to recover our lost contact.
I changed my parents, adopted a new unbelievable personality and quirks so as not to remind him of the past. I even avoided calling him by his first name in an attempt not to remind him of what we were. And even that way, there were tons of times during class where he'd leave because it was impossible for him to be near me. I don't know if it worked. I honestly believed that I was helping, even if they were only small steps. That was the impression I had.
In that sense, it probably looks like the story ended the same way, with Sharon alone, unable to face his friends. But that isn't actually the case. It's not like he disappeared into thin air this time, and more importantly, the chains, the bond that kept the three of us together, never broke. As you probably already know, Sharon has an odd way of thinking. He doesn't write after, but before events happen. It seems like clairvoyance, but most likely it's what he hopes will happen. Since the beginning, he's wanted to break the chains, return everything to as it was before, as if nothing had ever happened, as if he'd never existed in the first place. He had planned to stay alone forever. He wanted to lose us, to escape us, because from his point of view, he was guilty of everything that had happened. That was his version of a happy ending. Now everything makes sense, doesn't it? He doesn't want to win or lose. His priority has always been others. His health depends on how everyone around him feels and acts. Having finished recounting the past, Dennis offers to answer any questions. Since there's nothing left to say, they finish their improvised meeting and pack up their belongings. It's then looking at the perfect, alienated books on the shelves that Dennis finds the most appropriate words to describe an idea that he couldn't give shape to until now. His notebooks, his tales, his stories, they weren't based on a true story, but on a story that should be true. should keep going, because I don't want this video to be too long, but I really want to finish this, you know? Okay, whatever. We'll just do it. We'll just do it. Okay. It's well into the late hour. So I just want to apologize if this video is really, really long. But hey, whatever. It's well into the late hours of the night when the man engrossed by his computer suddenly receives a phone call. He's surprised. It's been a long time since he's heard that sound, at least during these ungodly hours. The number displayed on the screen is listed as unknown. It makes him stagger for a moment before he slides a finger against the OLED screen and brings the phone closer to his ear. It's a Sharon Endon. Hello? He can hear nervous breathing on the other end. Whoever it is, they're silent. If you have nothing to say, then I'm hanging up, whoever you are. Don't be a schmuck, Sheer. I just wasn't sure if it was you. After all, you supposedly don't have a cell phone. He pulls the phone away from his ear the moment he hears the voice on the other end. Immediately, he wonders how she managed to get his phone number. Although he can think of several possibilities, there's no use in thinking about it. I'm still waiting, Sheer. The voice seems to be dripping out of the speakers, dissolving into the air. My birthday was yesterday. We were all supposed to celebrate it together, and you were supposed to bring me the best presents on Earth. Did you forget? Sharon instinctively lowers his head. He didn't forget about any of that, but they're already neglected memories to him. Congratulations, Luce, but I'm sorry. The woman's voice becomes irritated and her verbiage quickens. You're sorry? What are you saying? As if the apologies of a pathological liar have any value. In any case, it's not too late yet. I was technically born early in the morning, so you still have time for redemption before my birthday ends. I thought I made myself clear, Luce. I don't... Clear? What should be clear, I wonder? That's what I want from you. I want you to tell me the truth without beating around the bush. Do you think I'm stupid or what? The best present you could ever give me is to be clear for once. The sarcastic tone she uses to express herself forces a displeased look on Sharon's face. He knows that it's impossible to defeat her in terms of pig-headedness. However, that's not enough. Not when he has already made his decision. Not when he no longer cares about making good or bad impressions of himself. Is it that hard to do what's right for once? I want to know the truth as you see it. Not from their point of view, not the conclusion I came to from their words, but your truth. Don't you think it's only fair after everything that's happened? Fair, yes. With her, justice has always been present. It was the leitmotif. There you go. Of their relationship, the scale that would justify their actions. That might have been the reason that something changed in Sharon's heart. By chance or justification, even if it wasn't intentional, the wound refused to close by itself. But justice was never the real reason behind his actions. Not for him, nor anyone else. If I tell you the truth, will you be satisfied? I doubt it. I probably won't calm down either. But I want to know. Then I'll leave you alone if that's really what you want. If that's what you really want. The sound of his inhaling slips through the microphone. Give me a minute, please. Don't hang up. She doesn't understand what he's planning, but she agrees to it. Sharon carefully places his phone on the table, not turning it off nor ending the call. He sighs again and closes his eyes. He exhaustedly lets his body fall back on his chair and turns his head to look at the other side of the room. You heard it for yourself. What do you think, Claire? The girl sitting at the edge of the bed seems unaffected. Her features are mostly obscured by the deep darkness of the night, only illuminated by the light blue and the blue light emanating from the computer screens. It might be because she isn't wearing a hat, but her smile seems to be more mature than usual, and her answers flow with a flawless calm.
If you're asking me, it's because you're hesitating. You'll keep hesitating until you're curious. If you're asking me, it's because you're hesitating. You'll keep hesitating until your curiosity is satiated, right? I don't know. Do whatever you want, Sheer. Do what you have to do.
I've already made my decision, Claire. That won't change no matter how curious I am. She shrugs at him with fatigue.
You don't understand anything, do you? Sometimes you need to forget in order to be truthful. I've told you a million times, haven't I? What's important to me. The truth isn't determined by a decision or justice. The only truth you can rely on is the strength that helped you make it this far.
Strength? I wish. More like lack of strength. But it isn't a bad thing either, considering what I've managed to get out of it.
Is that even close to what you really want? You always end up clinging to the past, Sheer. Choosing to forget the past and what could have been and deciding to walk another path is as mature as accepting your limits. Didn't you keep returning to that place despite the bad memories associated with it? Aren't you keeping that new notebook without tearing any of its pages out? From what I've seen, you'd always tear out any pages that didn't fit into your perfect world. Now, however, you keep the categories of the people who don't fit into your ideal ending. A bit contradictory, don't you think?
Don't take things out of context, Claire. I'm not hurting anyone by doing it.
You're hurting yourself.
I'm no different than anyone else. Everyone mourns their losses in their own ways. Nostalgia is a recurring theme in everyone's lives, not because the past is always better, but because of the possibilities that it once held.
Doors don't close, and there isn't a path to follow when it comes to decisions, Sheer. Thinking that you've lost something is incorrect because you didn't have anything to begin with.
Ooh!
You keep clinging to your lies, writing on empty pages and admitting the myriad of possibilities that evaporate as soon as you open your hand and expose them to the test of time. If you're still clinging to your notebook, if you can still read those first pages, it's because that door never really closed, no matter how many tricks you believe yourself to know.
Despite her words, Claire lowers her head. She has always been contradictory, and that's something that Sharon can't bear to see. Then what do I do? Fight for another disappointment? Fall face down in front of destiny like an idiot, even though I know myself and my limitations?
You can simply stop writing. No matter what, I will always wait for you. We'll always wait for you.
No, Claire. Our relationship will never be the same if I do as you ask. I don't even want to take the risk in the first place, because it won't change the result. I don't have control over it. She chuckles, sensing that the end is near. The terror, the fear of her own existence, what she may become without her consent. She doesn't have a definitive answer, at least not an appropriate one. Nevertheless, she finds something funny about it, something that makes her believe the situation at hand is childish. She stands up, gets closer to Sharon, caresses him lovingly, and speaks her heart's desires.
Whatever you do, Sharon, whatever you've done, you will always belong to yourself. Go, leave the pen behind. Learn to improvise.
The two of them embrace, tightly grasping one another.
Even if you wish otherwise, your hands will be empty regardless. No matter how beautiful it may look to you, moonlight is just a reflection of sunlight.
Sorry. Are you still here? Are you still there? Yeah, go on. Do you remember when you mentioned that one of your neighbors got a package? Package? The one you lost? Yeah, I remember. Get it from her. Consider it your present. Now? Do you know what time it is? You said we only have a few hours left, didn't you? Sharon hangs up wordlessly, leaving Luce to stare at her cell phone in disbelief. She has so many questions. What was that all about? Why does everything have to be weird? Especially earlier, as she waited for him on the phone. There was only silence. Oh. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. The doorbell rings. In front of the door, Luce nervously taps her feet against the floor. She wonders how she's going to justify her visit at this late of an hour. Soon enough, the face of a drowsy and disheveled middle-aged woman appears on the other side of the door. The woman makes an odd sound that resembles an animal's call, and asks Luce what she wants. I'm sorry for coming over this late, but it's urgent. I'm a resident from the front building. My name is Luce, and I don't know if you know me. We've met before, I think. The woman raises her head, her eyes unmistakably begging the girl to get to the point if she doesn't want to die here and now. My sister mentioned that you got a package by mistake or something. Is that true? Well, that package is actually for me, I think. No, I mean, it's for me, but you were gone for the holidays and... Basically, I'll leave you alone if you give it to me. I know I should have saved this for another day, but it's urgent. I hope... For a moment, the woman doesn't react. Her first impulse is to slam the door shut in Luce's face. But she controls herself, walks over to a nearby table and picks up a small package. She places it in her nighttime visitor's hands. You don't know how grateful I am. Don't hesitate to come to me if you ever need a favor. She doesn't finish her sentence before the woman slams the door closed. I'll take that as a no. Now let's see. What am I supposed to do with this? Open it. With no other plan, she leaves the apartment building and walks several feet back to her own building and ascends to her floor. On the way up, she inspects the package, unsure whether or not she should open it. If she does open it, she wonders what the best way would be not to damage it. When she's on the elevator, she starts carefully opening the cardboard box. The interior is full of old newspaper clippings. The elevator door opens. She walks out as she plunges her fingers inside the box, trying to find something among all of the filler. And finally, she discovers that it's empty. And no, that one doesn't have a false bottom like the one you gave me. Sharon appears, panting, near the top of the stairs. Little by little, he gets closer to an overwhelmed Luce. Why is it empty? Why is it empty? What is this? Wasn't this supposed to be yours and... Come on, Luce, don't tell me that you believed it. That I secretly ordered something, that it accidentally got sent to another neighborhood, and that someone would suddenly start sending me anonymous threats. Didn't you want the truth? That is the best proof I can give you. It best explains the situation by itself. Sharon's body rests against the wall, clearly unable to handle the situation at hand. He avoids eye contact. When she starts putting everything together, she can't fully believe it. What are you saying? Why? What is all of this about? Isn't it obvious? Figurine or statue? The means don't matter. In the end, the story is still the exact same. The important part is that we've met. Everything else was just an excuse I made up so that I could escape if I wanted to. Part of her feels frightened, the other part feels pity. Luce doesn't know where she should look, nor where to stand, but she summons the will to continue. What did you want to achieve? Why me? Why now? Couldn't you have used a normal method like a normal person? I tried, but I couldn't. My past was clinging to me. My fears and doubts were too big not to appear in the life of anyone else who got involved with me. What if I was wrong? What if something went wrong? Could I bear another blow like the one from 7 years ago? You don't know how important everything was to me, Luce. You've never been aware of all the changes you brought simply by existing. The first time I saw you was at the beginning of the school year. It was a dark morning, and before going up the steps as usual, I saw you walking along them, and you stopped on the top. You gave me a look that I'll never forget. The sun was rising behind you, and even though its light was blinding me, I couldn't possibly look away. Most importantly, from that moment on, for the first time since the accident, I stopped feeling pain. I lied to you when I told you that my leg hurts all the time, Luce. There's an exception, and that's when I'm with you. That time when I ran out of your apartment and away from the basketball game, I managed to do all that because after looking at you, I forgot about the pain in my right leg. Since that first encounter, I was always anxiously waiting to see you the next morning, even if it was something that had only happened a few times. I knew that my day would change and I'd be able to do things that were impossible before. I would go to class tired because I couldn't sleep knowing there was a chance that I'd meet you again. I felt like I could do whatever I wanted to. I didn't have to make any excuses to do anything or feel guilty about it. That's why, because the school year was coming to a close and knowing that I wouldn't be able to see you again afterwards, I decided to take the risk and meet you. I wanted to know who you were, and then I'd be able to decide if you really were special or just a product of my imagination. Luz is shocked and embarrassed at the same time. She cringes a bit and whispers a question. Then, in the end, I wasn't what you expected? No, Luz, you weren't what I expected. You're 1,000 times better. Oh, hell yeah! Hell yeah, Sheer, get into those pants! Luz, whose head had been down while she listened to him, raises her head in surprise when Sheeran finally admits the truth that she'd been awaiting for so long. Then I don't get it. What's the problem? What made you want to forget about me? What have I done? Nothing. I'm the problem. Luz, without you, I wouldn't have been able to see my old friends again without losing consciousness. That's the problem. I depend on you too much. When I told you that I swapped out painkillers for a more natural cure, I was referring to you. I thought I could change my life, return to how I was before if you gave me the strength to do it. It was on my birthday that I confirmed how I felt about you, and decided to improvise and do something that I wouldn't have tried any other day. But I got scared. I got scared of ruining the lives of the people that I consider so very important to me. You've never followed any of my predictions. The story that I'd planned out was one where I would support and help you forever, where I would dedicate myself to you if necessary, in appreciation of all the things you gave to me. But I realized that wasn't necessarily because you decided to change your life with your own strength. You matured every passing second and took giant steps with every decision you made about your future and your life. I, meanwhile, was still stuck in the same cycle as always, standing still in the same old story. That's why I couldn't do what I wanted to that day at the pool. Even though you were there with me, my legs started to react for a second, forcing me to run away once again. I tried to do the same thing on the day that I snuck into your classroom, but once again, I felt like we were drifting apart. I abandoned my idea because I feared that I'd drag you down into the same slump that I was stuck in for so long. On graduation day, I decided on an ultimatum, the result of which you already know. With her mouth wide open, Luz takes a bit to react. She sighs, puts a hand on her waist, and replies while trying to keep her voice steady. Is that all? Isn't that enough? There's one detail that you haven't explained yet. How did you feel? What did you want to do but couldn't? You really don't know? I can't know if it's coming from you, Sheer. I can't believe anything about you. I can't even trust your words, so you'll have to show me. I'm here now, right? Show you? What are you saying? Demonstrate whatever it is that you'd wanted to say or do to me. I want you to forget about everything else and don't back out of it this time. You don't know what you're asking. Has that ever mattered before? You know that. Unlike others, I don't mind improvising a little. If the problem is that you fear what might happen to me, then I'll warn you. I'm not easy to persuade. I can think and make decisions for myself. If I could do it. Shut up and do it. An empty box isn't a good birthday present. Who do you think you are? He tries to keep discussing it, but Sheeran eventually realizes that the two of them will always end up like this. Not once has he managed to sway her opinion. He thinks about it for a bit, and decisively, he makes a final petition. Can you promise me that you'll forget about me and let me leave if I do it? Luce takes a moment before answering. If that's what you want, sure. I'm not that evil, you know. But I think that I deserve this much, especially after what you've made me do so late at night. Sharon can't help but smile as he thinks about how she was the one who called him and begged him to see her. Maybe it's for that reason that he calms down. He breathes slowly as he approaches Luce, confident of himself, but until eventually the distance between them is gone. He puts his hand on Luce's shoulders and opens his eyes wide. Because of all of this, his face starts trembling. One of Sharon's hands reaches out and touches her cheek, caressing it softly before holding it firmly. His breathing grows heavy. Their pupils dilate and their faces blush. Sharon swallows nervously as he gets closer to Luce's face with his own. There's an inch left between them, and then the lights turn off without notice. The timer went off, placing a dark cloak over the events taking place on the landing. In the same way that lies hide reality, the darkness hides the feelings that develop on this night. But it doesn't matter. There are times when you don't need to see anything to understand what the lies are trying to say. All of them have an objective. All of them hide a truth that resonates even stronger for each lie we use to cover it up. And that might be why this is the only way we can be truthful. That sacrifice, the risk we take in lying, speaks things for itself that we could never communicate ourselves otherwise. When the lights turn on again, he's already gone. Alone, trying to understand what happened, she lets the box in her hands fall. Her fingers move to her lips and then down to her chin. She's unable to find something that she's just lost, something that was stolen from her. That's right. There's something she has to do if she wants it back. She inhales, closes her eyes, and... Thief! Oh my god. He stole her first kiss! Oh! Sharon hears Luce scream even though he's already leaving the building. She runs after him, following him through the dark streets of their town. Little by little, the streets gain color from the rising sun. A bit later, Sharon reaches the stone steps on the side of the street. While descending them, he trips on the fourth and final step, falling to his knees. Wait! Don't come any closer! Didn't you say that you'd leave me alone? What do you want? Aww. Luce stops in front of the first step and watches Sharon from the top. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this because... Oh yeah, right. Because yes... This music is like from a movie or something. Stand up. Sharon clicks his tongue, unable to fulfill her order. I told you to stand up! Grabbing the railing as best as he can, he manages to stand up, suffocating from his own breathing. I consider myself to be arrogant, but look at you. Do you think you know everything? You can't decide what's best for me, especially not when you don't even know what you can do unless someone else asks you to do it. You can't measure feelings, cheer, nor pain, nor maturity. Nothing. That's why trying to control everything doesn't make any sense. From conflict we struggle, no matter how hard it may be. We always selfishly keep going, because it's from all of this madness that we gain some kind of purpose. Our small hopes create who we are. No matter the ending, you should be happy due to the fact that you had the chance to live it. The sun rises behind Luce's back. The rays of sunlight reach everything and everyone, lighting up the street in a special way that he had never seen before. She shines at the top of the stairs, unreachable from Sharon's eyes. Despite thinking that it'd be enough to watch her from afar, deep inside he knows that he wants more. Luce leans forward, smiles, and takes the first step down. You don't have to do everything by yourself, you know? Or do you believe that I'm not also partially responsible? Justice or not, it doesn't matter. I wanted to meet you, know you, and connect with you too. Would I have been so pushy if I didn't feel anything for you? Do you think I haven't lied to see where we would end up as well? That's why I want you to come over here to try it again. I'll go down one step, you'll go up another. Then I'll go down another, and if you can't keep up, I'll reach out my hand and help you. Luce's hand reaches out to Sharon. She touches his fingers carefully, slowly grabbing them until their hands are gently interlaced. You see, it isn't that hard. It's a game for two. That's why I'm asking you. No, I'm not asking. I'll force you to do it if it's necessary. She takes a deep breath, sharpens her eyes, and strengthens her grip on the hand of the person who's slowly going up thanks to her help. Listen well, because this is my fourth and final requirement. Sheer, stay with me. Is that it? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Oh! Taco music. Oh my god! That was... Oh my god, that was great. Oh my god. Wow. That was an experience. I didn't think he'd end up with Luce, but, you know, after factoring out, you know, based on a story that should be true, that I will make true. Finn. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh! Look at that! Oh my god! So... Claire was completely fictional. So... Sheeran never wanted the sun. He never wanted the moon. He wanted the thing that was in front of the sun. Oh, god damn it. This game is good. I love it. This is, oh my god. I feel like just learning. I feel like this game is gonna impact me for the rest of my life. Well, maybe not to that extent, but I feel like I learned a lot. I mean, not necessarily, you know, anything like historical or anything like that. It's just, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, you know, because it talked a lot about psychology and lies and all that stuff. I feel like I kind of learned a little bit from that. Maybe I even learned a little bit about myself from playing this. And I feel like this game is going to definitely, you know, shape how I think a little bit. I feel like it has, actually. I try to analyze things more and everything like that. I try to think about things and how I feel and how others are going to feel and all of that kind of stuff. Maybe it's not exactly what the game was talking about, but it, you know, it just, I don't know how to talk anymore. But oh my god, this is good. Oh my god, this is gonna be, I'm definitely giving this like a 5-star rating. I loved it. Sure, there were some grammar mistakes, but that's normal. I mean, every single game I've played so far for my channel, has always had one or two grammar mistakes, and that's fine. It doesn't ruin the story. I got what it was saying when it messed up, but this is a good, oh my god. This was such an experience, and I know I'm talking about it and all that, but let me give my review. This was just I feel like I had a journey with this game, because this was the start of me doing daily uploads for YouTube, and it's kind of sad to, see it, be over. I finished it. I've been doing it for 38 weeks now. Pretty sure this is the 38th episode of this. That means I've been doing daily uploads for 38 weeks. And I just have to say, I'm gonna miss this game. I feel like I've grown a little bit since when I first started playing it. And not necessarily because I've grown because of this game, but, when you're growing alongside while playing something or doing anything, you feel like, it helped you grow. It was like there for you while you were changing as a person, growing as a person. And it's kind of like nostalgic now. But I love how I'm just talking about this. But I love this game. I love it. I feel like a year from now, I'm gonna still be holding this near and dear to my heart. I don't think I'm ever actually gonna uninstall it from my, computer. I'm just gonna keep it there and be like, revisit it for fond memories or something. Maybe even replay it to see, how everything connects, Because after you beat a game, you can go back and be like, oh, I get it all now, But, this was definitely an experience. I love this game. Anyone who's watching me still from way back then is up here now. Thank you for going on this journey with me. I enjoyed it. And I'm excited to, go on another one. It will be a different game, but I'm sure it will still be a pleasant experience. But anyway, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video of 1000 Lies, if you enjoyed this wonderful experience, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!